Getting the sense that I need to speak like directly into this. Oh, I'm sorry. Getting the sense that I need to speak like directly into this. Oh, I'm sorry. That should be a little bit better. Let's see. Hey, man. That should be a little bit better. Let's see. Hey, man. That should be a little bit better. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I think that'll be fine. Just need to turn this down. Okay. So my voice will be at least a little bit louder than that. Okay. sure that my audio is going to be the right volume. I haven't streamed in a while, so it's kind of gotta make sure everything sounds okay. Took me like an hour and a half or something to try and like figure this all out. I'm glad you made it too, man. Took me like an hour and a half or something to try and like figure this all out. I'm glad you made it too, man. Okay, I'm just gonna get started. Cryptid. An animal that has been claimed to exist, but never proven to exist. Contrary to popular belief, cryptids don't have to be supernatural, mythical, or even all that strange. The many popular creatures acquire these characteristics as their legends grow. Although cryptid zoology is not considered a real science, it is based on the sciences of zoology and paleontology. Many cryptids probably don't exist, but there's a high possibility that others do. In fact, National Geographic proved that Hogzilla and the Congo elephants, two cryptids thought to be hoaxes or not real, did exist. If more cryptids do exist, there are scientific evolutionary roots onto how these creatures possibly evolved. Every animal or plant on this page is marked as one of the following. Unconfirmed. Cryptids whose existence is alleged but not demonstrated. Discredited. Cryptids that have a body of evidence against their existence. Proposed. Cryptids with an alternative explanation accepted by the general scientific community. Extinct. Animals that are generally believed to be extinct, but who cryptozoologists believe may have an extant relict population. Animals no longer considered as cryptids are marked. Confirmed. Animal name or cause. Animals once classified as cryptids, but whose existence has now been confirmed. Hoax. Cryptids once thought to be real, but later conclusively proven to be hoaxes. Former. Cryptids that with findings have been proved to be living and real, and known as animals or plants, etc. So I'm going to pull up my first article here. In Cryptids, North America, Mexico, and Caribbean. aliens, and 8 more. Fresno nightcrawler. The Fresno nightcrawler, also known as the Fresno alien, is a cryptid that has made 2 appearances so far, one in Fresno, California, and the other in Yosemite National Park. In both sightings, it's only seen in video footage. However, a man in Poland has claimed to have seen the creature. It also is said to resemble the caramel area creature. Fresno nightcrawler, Fresno County, California. Background. Type, humanoid. First sighting, early November 2010. Last sighting, 2017. Country, United States and Poland. Habitat, Fresno, California. Possible population, unknown. Sightings. The Carmel area creature. Main article, Carmel area creature. The witness, a 60-year-old ex-Marine, yet to be named, and his wife were driving near Carmel on December 12, 2014, when they came up over a hill and saw a 7-foot-tall, slender gray creature, which is now known as the Carmel area creature. The witness said the following: "We recently bought a place in the Fort Hill area in southeast Highland County. We first noticed about after 30 days of living here that we suddenly have a perfect circle that stays fresh green, no matter what weather. In our front yard, on the night of the 12th, we were driving home. After turning on Carmel Road, which leads to our road, we went around the curve by the Carmel Church and then went up a small incline. And approximately 10 feet over the incline in front of our truck, the alien ran across the road and into the woods. There have been many possible sightings of the nightcrawler in the form of the Carmel area creature, a thin, armless, pale, white humanoid creature seen in Ohio. Nightcrawlers. The creature has also been spotted in Yosemite, where footage was again taken from what appears to be another security camera. This time, there are 2 creatures. One being very small, less than 0.5 meters, and the feet of the creatures can clearly be seen, as well as what appears to be some sort of webbing connected from the knees to the upper body on at least. The cryptid has also been videotaped in Poland, this time from what appears to be a handheld camera, judging from the shakiness of the footage. The creature could not be seen for too long, but appears to have similar traits to the larger one taped in Yosemite. Explanations. An alien or extraterrestrial being, a new species, possibly a primate with short arms, a misidentified gazelle standing upright, pants and or a puppet on a wire, possibly an entirely new kind of animal, possibly mammal. Description. Fresno nightcrawlers appear to be relatively short creatures, approximately 1.5 meters, with most of their height being made up of their legs, as they possess an extremely small upper body. It is hard to find details in the upper body of the cryptid due to the poor quality of its footage. There is a typo there. It is an extremely thin, white humanoid with no discernible arms. A larger specimen appears to have webbing connected with from each knee to the torso. The cryptids appear to have very short, thin, and stilt-like feet. It is hard to judge the exact characteristics of the cryptids in the footage due to poor quality. The caramel area creature is tall and gray, with presumably no arms and long muscular legs. It is bipedal and walks in an odd manner with its backwards bending knees. It resembles the Fresno nightcrawler. Origins. While there have been claims that they are part of Native American folklore in the region, this has been debunked. The first sighting of the Fresno nightcrawler happened in Fresno, California, by a man named Jose. Jose had a surveillance camera watching his front lawn and looked at the camera when he heard a dog barking. Media. The Fresno nightcrawler is most known for being one of the 2 featured video cases in the 2nd episode of Sci-Fi's Fact or Faked Paranormal Files, which is actually how I found out about this cryptid. That was a few years ago, though. The team deemed the nightcrawler unexplainable. It is also now considered a fun urban legend and an endearing addition to pop culture. Hoaxes. Some of the sightings are actually a pair of white pants being puppeteered, therefore a hoax. The alleyway gif of the Fresno nightcrawler was created by YouTuber Captain Disillusion by walking down an alleyway with a melon and then using digital manipulation to remove the top half of his body. His purpose to demonstrate how easily videos of cryptids can be falsified. Overall, there is some evidence, but most evidence points towards the nightcrawler being a hoax. And there are a few videos. And then there's kind of various art here. I think I might actually put that up. Okay. Because of the thing I'm using, I can't do that, I guess, but I can pull up an image here. Almost got it. Here we go. Live streaming just slows down my computer. Yeah, check it out. I guess this is a drawing of a DeviantArt. Very cool. Personally, I don't know. I think it's fun to believe in these guys. And my girlfriend likes them a lot, so. Let's see. Oh, I gotta read about this guy on stream. Pardon me. Mothman. And humanoids flying and gliding. North America, menace Mexico, and Caribbean, and 11 more. I apologize, my voice is a bit weak. I had laryngitis recently, and I thought I was good to start reading again. I think I'm just dehydrated. So I might go get a drink here in a minute. But I'm sorry if my, me clearing my throat is a bit too loud. State of West Virginia has always had its fair share of strange and often inexplicable events, such the visitation of the Flatwoods Monster and Injured Cold, but perhaps the strangest yet is the arrival of the creature known as the Mothman, who changed the sleepy little town of Point Pleasant forever when it swooped in one cold autumn night in 1966. I'm gonna go get something to drink and clear up my throat. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Sorry about this. Okay. So I think I'm all good now. At least I'm as good as I'm gonna get. Here we go. Okay. Today, Mothman is one of the most well-known cryptids in the world. Made famous partly by John Keel's book, later adapted to film, The Mothman Prophecies. Mothman is also hunted in Mountain Monsters on Destination America. I've been thinking about doing this for a second. I'm gonna see. No, really? There's no, like, reverb plugin I can use? Man. Well, that's okay. I didn't want to have fun anyway, right? Feels like something weird's going on in the chat. Hey, Rain Domi. And hey, Charmaine King. There's some emojis in the chat. But yeah, they're not animated or anything. Okay. The first recorded Mothman sighting took place on November 12, 1966, near Clendon, West Virginia. 5 men were in a cemetery preparing a grave for burial when they saw something they couldn't explain. Lifting off from the nearby trees was a brown-winged creature. The men held to the fact that what lifted off beyond the trees was no bird, it was a humanoid. Now let me read this one first. Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Background. Type humanoid. First sighting, November 12th, 1966. Last sighting, unknown. Country, United States. Habitat, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Possible population, small, possibly singular. There can be only one Mothman. I'll try to pull up this picture here to get everybody in the mood. Sorry if that's kind of loud. You ready for this? You ready for this? Here he comes, here he comes. Boom. Bet you weren't expecting that. The TNT area. The creature was sighted in many places across West Virginia and the surrounding states. but the largest number of sightings have been near the old West Virginia Ordnance Works, an area now known by locals as the TNT area. West Virginia Ordnance Works is an abandoned munitions to the north of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, that dates back to World War II. The facility, during its operation, manufactured ammunition and dynamite. The surrounding area is mostly forest, dotted with numerous grassy clearings and thick concrete domes called igloos that were used to store barrels of gunpowder. The area is also riddled with abandoned tunnels, most of which have collapsed, been sealed off, or become flooded with water. A wildlife sanctuary, McClintock Wildlife Management, now encompasses the area. These are some pretty cool photos. There's actually a photo of the igloo inside the TNT area. If you guys want to see it. And move Mothman over here. And then so I guess this is one of those igloos that everybody always told you about. In 1979, fishermen in the TNT area reported that chemicals had been left to seep into the ponds, causing it to be labeled an environmental disaster. By the year 1983, the TNT area was among the country's most polluted sites. The picture that you're seeing, by the way, the description is an igloo in the TNT area, built thick to prevent a chain explosion from the barreled gunpowder inside. Pretty neat. It was here in the TNT area on the cold night of November 15th, 1966, 3 days after the first sighting took place, that two young couples would encounter this bizarre creature. Roger and Linda Scarberry. That's a pretty cool last name. I wish my last name was Scarberry. That's pretty cool. We're driving in Roger's black 57 Chevy Bel Air with Steve and Mary Millette through the area around midnight when Linda noticed, unbelievably, two large glowing red eyes in the darkness beside the old North Power Plant and screamed. They soon learned that those eyes belonged to something that looked frankly human, about 7 feet tall with wings folded against its back. Roger stalled in the road for a minute, inspecting the strange creature. The four realized immediately that their spectacle was no ordinary bird. The true horror began, however, when the creature spread its wings and pursued them down Highway 62 to the Point Pleasant city limits at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour. Which I think is like 40 or 60 kilometers per hour. Honestly, not sure. 160 kilometers per hour. The four arrived in town, startled and confused, and with no sign of the mysterious bird that had chased them. Roger parked his car at the edge of town and they discussed their encounter, eventually deciding that what they saw was nothing more than an aberrant bird. In an attempt to face their fears, they again drove towards the TNT area. It wasn't long before they saw the creature again, apparently waiting on them beside Route 62. The couples now realized that their stalker was no bird, but in the instant the car's headlights landed on the creature, it lifted vertically into the air with tremendous speed and disappeared above the tree line. This time, when they arrived into town, they went to the Mason County Courthouse and they told their story to Sheriff George Johnson and Deputy Miller Halstead. 2 hours later, city police began investigating the area, only to return empty-handed. The next day, a press conference was held, and the local press began printing on the story. Let's see if I can... Yeah, pop out the chat. Here we go. I can kind of split up my tab where I'm reading. Hey, there we go. Now I can read the chat and read this. Nice. The next day, a press conference was held and the local press began printing on the story, causing others to come forward with previous and future sightings. This was the major event that started it all. In the November 16th issue of the Point Pleasant Register, a strange encounter will be brought to the public eye with the headline, "Couple sees man-sized bird, creature, something." A strange encounter in the TNT area was a harrowing experience for everyone involved. And on the morning of November 16th, 1966, Linda Scarberry was rushed to the hospital by her father after experiencing a nervous breakdown. On the phenomenon, Roger Scarberry stated, "I'm a hard guy to scare, but last night I was for getting out of there." Continued sightings. This creature would be seen throughout the next 13 months in Point Pleasant, and it was estimated that there were over 100 sightings within this time. Though these are unidentifiable reports, and the actual number of reported sightings may be quite lower. Mothman witnesses were also harassed by the men in black, who wanted them not to speak about the creature. Strange sightings all seem to culminate in the collapse of the Silver Bridge on December 15th, 1967. Many similar cryptids and creatures have been seen worldwide. The sightings are similar to Mothman in many ways, including the fact that most of them seem to be heralds. Sorry, I lost my spot. Heralds of impending disasters. Some of the places Mothman or its fellows have visited include a mine in Freiburg, Germany, where a Mothman-like creature scared miners away shortly before it collapsed. Another notable visit was to the nuclear plant at Chernobyl, where a creature haunted the facilities for a while before the famous nuclear meltdown. There were also 2 Mothman pictures taken in New York on 9/11, and multiple sightings before the Minnesota bridge collapse. They're showing a picture here, but I'm honestly not sure if this could just be like someone like jumping. I don't know. Seems more likely to me for 9/11. There were also 2 Mothman pictures taken in New York on 9/11 and multiple sightings before the Minnesota bridge collapse. Some believe that the Mothman tries to warn people about disasters about to happen, such as the Freiburg and Chernobyl sightings listed above. Man, they really love repeating themselves. It's like sometimes I keep looking at these articles and I'm like, some of them are so long just because they keep repeating things that they're saying in like the previous paragraph, just in case you weren't like reading it or something. I don't know. Okay. However, since there only seems to be one Mothman instead of a bunch of his kind, and since he seems rather paranormal, these sightings are not much of interest to cryptozoologists who want to discover new kinds of creatures. There's another picture of him, but it's kind of a... It looks like kind of a bad 3D rendering, so I'm not gonna torment you with that, as it were. Description. Mothman is described as bipedal, winged humanoid. Despite his name, which was given to him by newspapers, he is in no way moth-like. His coloration varies from black, gray, to even brown, although it's usually the darker shades. He is often reported to be about 7 feet tall, with a wingspan about 10 to 15 feet or more. So it's about 2 meters. And a wingspan of 3 to 4 meters, I guess. Wait, was I converting the right thing? Yeah, it was. plus the ability to fly over 100 miles per hour, which, like I said, is 106 kilometers. Sometimes he's described as not having a head, with the two huge red eyes set in the chest. These eyes are reported to be glowing, or at least reflective. The details of his face and his feet have never been adequately described. One witness who saw the face clearly could only say that the details were horrible and monstrous. She had terrible nightmares and nearly suffered a nervous breakdown. Sorry about that. Anyone who gets a close look at Mothman seems to suffer from extreme fear and psychological distress, sometimes lasting for months or years afterwards. In particular, people say that a sense of pure evil overcomes them when they see Mothman's eyes. I better get that off the screen then. Sorry about that. He can fold his wings and walk with a weird shuffle that many witnesses compare to a penguin. When he flies, he unfolds his wings and shoots straight up with great speed, then levels out to go wherever he wants to go. He is rarely observed flapping his wings except for on takeoff. Witnesses often described his flight pattern as straight up like a helicopter. He can fly much faster than any bird should be able to fly, as measured by those victims who suffered from what seems to be Mothman's favorite activity, chasing cars. He'll fly in front of them and even sometimes hit at the roof. Got some mistaken photos here. This image is not of Mothman, but of a metal structure on the top of the bridge, tilting and falling off. Alright. Photoshopped Mothman image made only for art purposes. Very cool. We've got some explanations here. This is a bit longer than the Fresno guys. So here's some explanations. Mothman sightings have been associated with at least two other cryptids, gigantic thunderbirds with gray bodies and red heads that were sighted in the same area at the same time by a few witnesses, and Owlman, which is an identical creature with wings. And red eyes sighted in Cornwall, England in 1976. Sheriff George Johnson, who the original witnesses contacted, believe Mothman may have been a large heron. Wildlife biologist Dr. Robert L. Smith at West Virginia University thought that Mothman was a sandhill crane, which the newspapers then reported on, but the witnesses completely disagreed. Skeptic Joe Nickel posted owls as an explanation because of their eye shine and their silhouette resembling the headless Mothman. Most modern skeptics seem to agree with Joe Nickel, but the sightings might just be too extraordinary to attribute them to such animals. Fair enough. I'd say it's probably an owl. I just know that if you hit an owl with your car, it like bursts into feathers. I don't really know if Like, I don't know. Just based on the just based on the sightings, I guess it would depend on whether or not an owl could fly that fast. Just let me know what you think in the chat if you want to. Excuse me. Sorry if that was loud. Some believe the Mothman may be an angel, demon, or the product of a blood curse placed on the town by Chief Cornstalk, who was murdered along with his son in the area. Similarly, the curse theory is one very attached to the collapse of the Silver Bridge. The more likely assumptions, however, like a normal barn owl, have been proposed, just as the fact that the original sighting, what they seem to describe as more in line with an illusion during driving, and other sightings could be misidentifications and calls for attention. Especially if you're driving at night, and especially if it's in the country. There's not really any, there isn't really any street lamps or anything like that. So it's really easy to misidentify things. That's generally why more accidents happen at driving at night, because it's harder to see things, it's harder to tell where you are, it's harder to see signs, it's harder to, so, I mean, I could see it being an owl, I guess, with, like, the shine of the eyes. Yeah, I don't know. There's some owl drawings here that I will bring up. Either way, it's just a fun concept to think about. Oh, check this out. What's a weather balloon? Mothman Festival is an annual commemoration of the visit of the cryptid known as the Mothman. It started in 2002 and is held on the third weekend of every September in downtown Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Oh wow, so that... hang on. That would have been last weekend then? Yeah, I think. Third weekend, yeah. So it would have been last weekend, that's weird. I almost thought it was this weekend. Or no, it was this past weekend. I'm stupid, sorry. Of every September in downtown Point Pleasant, West Virginia. It's located next to the Mothman Museum and the Mothman statue. The festival features a wide variety of vendors, guest speakers, live music, food, and events for all ages. People from all over the world come to experience a unique atmosphere and learn more about the Mothman. Entertainment. Mothman was featured in the game Fallout 76, in which he appears more moth than a man. Have you ever thought about this? About a moth being more than a man? But rather a moth? Rather just a moth? That's all, that's mostly what he is? Hey, thank you, Charmaine. Definitely the less you see, the more your brain fills in for you. I don't like road trips. This is like specifically like triggering like driving at night when there's like no, like out in the country where there's like no street lamps or anything, and like you can barely see anything, and like you almost get in accidents and stuff because like you can't really like see certain signs, and you don't know how to drive. Like, not that you don't know how to drive, but like you don't see certain signs, and so it's like you mess up, and it's just really like it's like it's just spooky. I don't like driving at night, and I don't mind driving at night. I don't really like driving at night in the city all that much. Driving at night in the country is like it's doomed. Did the big bad wolf threaten to blow your house down? I think I would feel a little bit better if I was driving with Mothman. Mothman was also featured in the book The Mothman Prophecies by John A. Keel and the movie of the same name. There they go again, repeating themselves. I understand this is an entertainment section, but it's like, well then just save it for the entertainment section. Don't say it twice in the same article. He also appears in many movies / documentaries, including The Mothman of Point Pleasant and TV shows like Mountain Monsters. Wow. Okay, so here's the classic drawing of the classic rendering of the Mothman. And this is like a drawing of like, have you ever thought about Mothman being an apple? An owl, I mean? Consider this. Think about this. So there's that. I have to say, I really enjoyed that. So here's the discussion. Here's the title. Is Mothman a mutant, or is it a creature from another dimension who thinks humans are pathetic, and that the Mothman festival is even more pathetic? And then someone said he probably does think the Mothman festival is pathetic, though. I couldn't say for sure. I don't know if, I've never been. Couldn't tell you. It sounds like a good time. I think as long as you had maybe like a costume contest or something where people dress up as Mothman and kind of the prize goes to whoever dresses up as the best Mothman. I could see that being successful, and you gotta make it like a pre-Halloween sort of fest. That could be cool. Yeah, I much prefer driving during the day. Even during the evening, I don't mind. I actually sometimes prefer the evening. It's just driving when, like, the only context clues you can even really get for, like, the road is your headlights on the asphalt, you know? And any other time, it's like you can't really see the lines very well. It's like there's some cars where they don't even turn on their headlights. I've had people almost hit me, and I've almost hit people because they didn't have their headlights on. And it just, yeah, just happens. Okay. Um, so I really enjoyed this. Um, I would like to do this more on a weekend where I can do this for longer. Um, and then probably kind of as these go up, we can get more people in the chat, and people can, because I'd like to make this a thing where people can like suggest their favorite cryptids, or at least the type of like creatures that they'd like to see me like try to find articles for. I feel like Mothman is either a misidentified flying owl, or Mothman is really out there. Maybe, I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. Um, I think it's fun to believe in this stuff, but I'm not really. I I never have like a huge definite answer on this sort of thing, because I'm just like, I don't know. I, you know, it's probably not real, but it's fun to think about. Um, and I think even if this stuff seems a bit silly, I think it's a good idea to keep this stuff going through your brain, because um, just means that you're thinking critically about stuff, and you're not just accepting everything that's given to you. You know, you're actually thinking about what's being said, and the idea that's being proposed to you. And I think that that's a good thing, even if some people think it's a bit silly, because you don't necessarily have to believe in vampires or werewolves or ghosts to have a good Halloween, or to have some fun, like dressing up as them. Lichens or dragons? I forgot what a lichen is. Give me just a second. Oh, werewolf, okay. Oh, lycanthrope. Oh, I should have known that. Anyways. uh, I guess it would depend on the type of dragons. Because Because I think some dragons are cool and some dragons are lame. Like, it all just depends on. Because it's like, there's some dragons I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I would be all that scared of that dragon, and I think it's just because, like, of. What's that book called? It's like. It's like Ender. Dragon movies. What is. It's in here somewhere. Aragon. Yeah, I saw that movie as a kid, and I'm like, dragons aren't scary. But, you know, then you see something like Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and that dragon that he's gotta, like, get the golden egg from. That was pretty freaky. Like, you know, you see that, and you're like, yeah, I don't know. But you watch something like Aragon, and you're like, not only is this really boring, but, I don't know. But I think werewolf just like dragons or something that I'm like, I think dragons could actually exist, or may have existed at some point. Werewolves, I don't know, because like the whole thing of them like transforming from humans into werewolves. Because I was thinking about that with like the kind of change that like the skeleton would have to go through doesn't really make sense to me. There are a lot of other transformations, I guess, that make more sense to me, where like your teeth and like your face changes or something. And I guess to me that makes more sense. I don't think any of it makes really sense to me, but dragons seem more plausible, I think, in the end, and I like them more. And I think I grew up with a fonder memory of dragons, because I remember my friend used to have this book of like different dragon stuff, and it had all this. It had some sort of like. I don't even remember. I just remember you could like feel scales, I think, in the book and stuff, and that was cool to like think like, oh yeah, dragons are real. Um, so maybe I just have a better memory of dragons, and they actually seem like something that could have existed at some point with dinosaurs. But I guess the unfortunate part of that is that if they did exist with the dinosaurs, um, they were, you know, they were most likely feathered then. And that's not very fun to think about. I think that could be cool, though. Especially to some people. I don't think some people would mind if dragons were feathered. I've seen a feathered T-Rex. You ever seen that? It's actually scarier. You wouldn't think so. Aragon is a movie that came out in 2006. It is about a poor farm boy. He lives in a kingdom ruled by John Malkovich, and he finds a stone that's turns out to be an egg, that of dragon. And when it hatches, he's like, oh, it's a dragon. And then I don't really remember from there. It sort of says like perhaps he could overthrow John Malkovich, but I don't think. I don't know. I don't remember that happening. There is some like clip here of I don't know. I just remember that movie was really boring. It's got a really low score on like all the different critic sites. It was really boring. I just remember renting that movie, and I think I was the only one watching it. Look, the first thing that people also ask is there going to be an Aragon 2 movie? Unfortunately, the movie got delayed to 2019 because of Alan Rickman passing away early that year. I don't think anybody wants to see another Aragon movie. I'm glad that How to Train Your Dragon comes up. That's a better movie. There's a lot of weird, funny dragon movies that come up when you put in dragon movies. Isn't there a movie called Dragonheart? There is. There's Dragon Slayer. Oh, Dragonheart 3. Excuse me. Yeah, that's what it was. Was it Hungarian Horn Tale? What is the dragon that Harry Potter fights? There we go. Yeah, it was a Hungarian Horn Tale. I think feathered dragons do sound adorable, but I think every rendering I've seen of like a feathered dinosaur still looks creepy to me. Yeah, Falcor. He's a good boy. Yeah, that would be more like a feathered dragon, wouldn't it? Okay. Well, this has been a really fun time. I think I'm gonna do this again. Come this weekend. So this will be posted on my channel, and some people can watch it. I know I've been gone for a long time, but I'd like to start. I don't know if I'm gonna make any kind of big commitment to, making a bunch of videos, because I think doing something like this and making a video are kind of two different things. Because this can be kind of more casual, and I can just kind of make it as I go, and then it's out there. While a video is kind of more of it's like a slow thing where it's like I have to get it right, and I have to re-record stuff, and I have to like cut it and make sure I catch all the mistakes I made and cut them out, and so that's a different thing. And I'll be like, oh, is the music good, is this good, is that good, but like stuff like this is just like, just do it. So I might just start doing live streams if I can, because it seems like a fun thing to do, especially if I can think of other topics besides just this. I think next time I do this, though, this is what I'll do. I think I saw the first Hobbit movie. I enjoyed it. I have yet to see the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy yet, though. I think if I don't see the Hobbit, I at least want to see. Well, I saw the Hobbit, but if I don't see the rest of the Hobbit movies, I want to at least watch all of the Lord of the Rings movies before I am wiped from the face of the earth finally. Um, okay. So, hopefully I can do this with reverb next time. I don't think I can, but I'd like to. Okay. Alright, well, I gotta go to sleep now. So, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. And as I used to say, stay scary. I think I used to say that? Yeah. Hey, see you, man. Yes, I want to end my stream.